to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Faye. Thank you so much for clicking on this video and checking it out. I hope that you enjoy. Please be sure to subscribe if you have not already and turn on your notifications so that you don't miss out on any of my future videos. And if you are not new, you guys already know what it is, so thank you so much for coming back. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing a get ready with me, showing you guys how I created this look that I have on right now. For this look, I did use the Anastasia Soft Glam eyeshadow palette. Most of you guys, I'm sure, already know that this is a new palette that Anastasia recently launched. It retails for $42. It is now available anywhere that Anastasia is sold. When it first launched, it was only available on her website, but it is now available on Sephora, Ulta, Macy's, and anywhere else that Anastasia is sold, as well as, of course, on her website. This palette comes with 14 shades, and there is a mixture of mattes, shimmers, and duochromes. There's about 9 matte shades, 3 shimmer shades, and like 2 duochromes in this eyeshadow palette. So I have a mixture of all of the shades going on my eyes right now. So yeah, for today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how I created this soft glam, but not really, makeup look. And at the end of the video, I will share with you guys my final thoughts on what I thought about the shadows, how they blended, and all of that good stuff. So without further ado, if you would like to see how I got this look and see this palette in action, then please keep watching. Alrighty, so we all know why we're here, so let's go ahead and get into it. So the very first shade that I'm picking up is the shade Orange Soda. I'm picking this up on a blending brush from Sigma. This one is the E40, and I'm just buffing and blending this into the crease pretty much all over my entire eye for the most part. I'm just laying this as the kind of main shade as a base for the other shades that we'll be applying in the crease. So next up, I'm going in with the shade Burnt Orange. I'm using the same brush. I'm going to apply this slightly lower than Orange Soda, but still pretty much on the outer portion of the eye and blending it into the crease. I'm applying the majority of the pigment in the outermost portion of the eye, and then as I start to get rid of a little bit of that pigment from the shadow, I'll start to blend it up to my brow and also blend it in towards the inner portion of my eye. Next up, I'm taking a slightly more tapered blending brush, and I'm picking up the shade Sienna. This is a beautiful kind of rich brick shade, and I'm going to be focusing this more on the lower portion of the eye and the lower crease, kind of more directly in that crease area. I'm doing the same motions, just buffing and blending in circular motions, and then blending it up to the brow area for a nice seamless blend. So next up, I'm going in with this super pigmented matte shade. This is in the shade Mulberry. This was the main shade that really stood out to me in the palette, and I was like, I have got to use this shade. So I'm picking this up on the brush that actually came with the palette, and as you can see, I'm just packing that shadow on the lid right up to that tape, and then I'm going to bring it right up to the crease. I'm not going to take it all the way into the crease. As you'll see in the next few clips, I'll blend it into the crease to kind of get that really nice transition into the other shadows that I've applied already. So here I'm just packing on the color, building up the pigmentation, bringing it right up to that crease, and preparing it to be blended out. So next up, you'll see that I have a tapered blending brush here. This one is from Morphe, and I'm just going into that crease and starting to blend out those edges. Now this is where you'll see that it kind of started to get a little bit hairy for me in, like, as far as blending and working with these shadows goes. One thing I did notice with this shadow in particular, which you guys will kind of start to see as I continue to blend, is that as I started to blend out the shadow, the color of the shadow in the crease actually changes. So you'll see when I go in to add a little bit more color, the shadow itself, when you add it at first, is a very rich brick red shade, but as you can see in my crease area, it's kind of changing to a more chocolatey, almost like plum shade. So as you can see, I'm just going in with a bunch of different brushes, trying to blend it out and make it look seamless. And then here I'm going in with some more of the shadow. You can see a lot more here, the complete difference in the color that I'm adding as far as the original shadow as it looks when you first apply and how it looks in my crease after I have blended it out. But yeah, I definitely wanted to mention that because I had to work with this shadow a lot. I had to go in and add a little bit more, blend it out, add a little bit more, blend it out. And then I kept this next clip because I just thought it was funny. I went in and tried to use the blending side of the Anastasia brush, and you're going to see me look at it right here. I'm like, negative. So I just went back to my Sigma brush because that Anastasia brush just was not getting it done for me. But as you can see, I'm just alternating brushes, blending it out, adding a little bit more of the colors that I initially had in the transition area of my eye, and just kind of blending everything and trying my best to get it as seamless as possible. So here I'm going in with the Too Faced Shadow Insurance, and I'm just going to be applying that on the innermost portion of my eye. I absolutely love this stuff, and I'm pretty much just using it to prep that portion of my eye for the shadow that I'm going in with next. And here I am using the shade Bronze. This color and the shade that is directly next to it, directly left of it, which is the shade Sultry, those are the two kind of metallic shades, I guess if you want to say, or pigments, pressed pigments, I guess you could say that, that might be a better word. And they are gorgeous. As you can see, it looked beautiful on its own. And then I just went in with a little bit of Fix Plus just to kind of see what it would look like, and it just got even more vibrant, even more beautiful. So I'm just applying that on the inner portion of my eyelid, and then I'm blending that into that burgundy shade that is on the outer portion. So as you can see here, I'm just going in with a little bit more of Mulberry and just tapping it over that transition to get it nice and smooth so that there are not any harsh lines between the two shades. So once I've got that blended to my liking, I'm going to go in with my Black Up Waterproof Liquid Eyeliner, and I'm going to apply a very thin line across the top of my eyelashes. I'm not going to wing it out with this liner. I'm actually going to do a smoky kind of wing, which I'm going to show you in a second. But here I'm just kind of laying down the base and just applying that over the top portion of my lash line. And then here I'm going in with the shade Noir from the palette and a really small pencil brush from Morphe. This one I believe is from the Elite collection, and I'm just pretty much creating a wing with the shadow but buffing out the edges so it gives that kind of smoky winged kind of effect, which I really like and thought would complement this look really well. So next up, I'm going to apply some lashes, and then with the power of editing, voila, my face makeup is done. So jumping back up to the eyes, I'm going to go ahead and finish off my lower lash line. First up, I'm going to apply this black eyeliner. This one is from ColourPop. I'm only applying it on the outer half of my lower lash line, and then I'm going in with that same little pencil brush. This doesn't have any additional product on it, and just blending out that eyeliner. And then I'm going in with a slightly larger pencil brush and I'm picking up the shade Mulberry, and I'm just going to use that to blend out that lower lash line and smoke it out a little bit. So I'm going back into the shade Bronze and applying that on my lower lash line, and then I'm also going to highlight my inner corner with the shade Glistening, which is stunning, super pigmented, absolutely gorgeous, such a beautiful shade. So I'm highlighting my inner corner with that, and then we can go ahead and move on to some face products. So since I'm reviewing the Soft Glam palette, I decided to also include the bronzer. As most of you guys know, she did launch, I think, 6 different shades of bronzers, and I picked up the shade Saddle. So I'm just applying it with a little tapered brush from Real Techniques, and I'm just placing it in my usual contour slash bronzing areas of my face and the hollows of my cheeks, along my jawline and on my forehead. And here I'm just showing you the difference from one side to the other. And it looks really good. Honestly, I really like this bronzer. I'll of course give you more of my thoughts a little bit later on in the video, but I do really like this bronzer. So yeah. So next up for blush, I'm going into the Anastasia blush kit. I don't remember if these have names or not, but this one is the pink one, and I'm just going in with that shade that I showed you guys and applying it to the cheeks. I thought this color complemented the look really well. And then for highlight, you guys already know I had to use the Amrezy highlighter. This also came out as part of this collection, I guess you could say. And I'm also using the brush that you can get from Anastasia for applying highlight. And I'm just going to be applying that to my cheekbones and also down the bridge of my nose. I do have a full review on this highlighter. It was a first impression, so I will link that for you at the end of this video if you would like to check it out. So last but not least, for lips, the first thing that I'm going to do is line them. I'm using my MAC lip liner in the shade Cork, and I'm just going to, you know, do the usual lip line, nothing special here. Just applying that all the way around the perimeter of my lips and kind of shading it in a little bit, but not fully. And then for my lip color today, I decided to use the Milani lip glosses that I hauled for you guys in my Ulta haul. This one is in the shade number 2, and I'm just going to apply that all over my entire lips and blend it right into that lip liner. And then on top of that, I'm going to apply the shade number 3, which is a little bit more pinky, and I thought it kind of helped to bring it all together and complement the lip color a little bit better. So this is the final look. This is how everything came together. And then next up, I'm going to go ahead and go into a little bit more detail about my thoughts on all of the products. Alright guys, so I know that you already saw a little sneak peek of this look at the beginning of the video. Now that you've seen how I created it, here's another look at how everything came together in the end. I really like the way that this look came out. It has been a minute since I have done a bold eye look here on my channel. So I wanted to kind of play around with some of the more bolder shades, but I definitely wanted to dig into that beautiful gold shade that I have on my inner corner. And this is what I came up with. So a quick little rundown on the products that I used from Anastasia in this video. First up, for the eyeshadow palette, I was actually on the fence about purchasing this eyeshadow palette when it first came out, but I'm very happy that I did decide to go ahead and pick it up because I think that this palette has a lot of really beautiful, warm, everyday shades that I would definitely wear on a very regular basis. This eyeshadow palette is very much up my alley. It has some beautiful transition colors, and out of all of the shadows that I have on my eyes, I was very happy with pretty much all of them. Now the only thing that I will mention is this shade right here, Mulberry. I did notice that when I was blending this shadow onto my actual eyelid and then trying to buff and blend it in the crease, whenever I would go, when I applied it initially, it would show up really nice, rich, like a brick red shade, pretty much very similar to how it looks in the pan. But when I would go in with my brush to kind of buff and blend it out or blend it into the crease, I noticed that it turned into more of a deep plum shade. And I remember some people complaining or mentioning about a similar issue with some of the shadows from the Subculture palette. Now luckily that darkness kind of worked out with this look because in the crease it kind of helps to like cut the crease and give it a little bit more, you know, shape to my eye. But if I was really wanting that rich brick red shadow or that rich, you know, kind of shade to show through on my eye, that's not really what I got in the crease. So I did have to go in and build up this color quite a bit. When I initially applied it, it is very pigmented. But if you are going in and you're blending out and trying to buff and blend out any harsh lines, I did want to mention that it is going to turn more of that deep kind of chocolatey plum shade like as what you see in the crease. So for this look, like I said, it worked out. But again, if I was really trying to go for the shade that I saw in the pan, it would have been a little bit disappointing. But besides that, all of the other shadows blended out beautifully, absolutely beautifully. I was very impressed with the matte shades. They blended into each other very nicely. As transition colors, they just all melted right into each other. Very nice matte eyeshadows. I loved this metallic shade as well on my lid. It showed up really nicely by itself, and then when I added Fix Plus, it just took it to a whole nother level. And then I was honestly very surprised by this shade right here, Glistening. It's like a kind of champagne, almost slightly rose gold shade, but it is beautiful. I have it on my inner corner, and I almost kind of wish that I had used this all over the lid also. I mean, there's only so many shades that you can put on your eyes at once, but I'll probably do another look with this glistening shade all over my entire lid because it is stunning. When I applied it on my inner corner, I was like, ooh, this color is gorgeous. So overall, my thoughts on this palette, I give it 2 thumbs up. I really do like it. I feel like this is a palette, like I said, I could see myself using on a very regular basis. Honestly, more than I use the Modern Renaissance. And I know Modern Renaissance is, you know, like a cult favorite, but honestly, I feel like the Modern Renaissance leans more like pink tones. This one leans more warm tones, which is more of like my everyday kind of vibe, if you know what I'm saying. So very happy with this palette, happy that I purchased it, very much worth $42. Next up is the bronzer, and I have the powder bronzer in the shade Saddle. I also really like this bronzer as well. I was a little bit worried about picking out the shade when I purchased it off of Anastasia's site because I wasn't sure which shade was going to be the best match for me. But if you are similar to my skin tone or a little bit lighter, I think this shade would work really nicely for you. And as you can see, one thing I really like about this is when you apply it to your skin, it doesn't come off like super pigmented, like to the point that it's like boom, like a big blotch of color on your face. but I don't mind that because I find that you can build it up to the intensity that you like. And as you can see, it just looks like my skin. Like, it looks like a natural shadow on my face all the way around. Like, it just looks, it doesn't look like a powder sitting on my face. It looks like it just melted right into my skin. It just looks like a natural shadow on my face. So this might be one of my favorite bronzers, which I've only used it like today and one other time, but I could see this becoming a favorite pretty easily in my collection. So this one is another one that hit it out the park. 2 thumbs up from me. And then last but not least, you guys know I have the Amrezy highlighter. I'm not going to talk too much about this because I do have a full review on this highlighter that I will link for you guys down below, as well as at the end of this video if you want a little bit more information about my thoughts and first impressions when I first applied this highlighter. But as you can see, it's popping. And it complements this look very, very well. I think it looks beautiful. So yes, definitely check out that video if you want a little bit more information on my thoughts and opinions and first impressions on this highlighter. Like I said, I will link it for you guys down below and also at the end of this video. But yeah, that is all that I have to share with you guys for today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed seeing me create this look using the Anastasia Soft Glam eyeshadow palette. Let me know down below in the comments any other colors or shades out of this palette that you guys would like to see me work with. I definitely plan on doing more looks with this eyeshadow palette really, really soon. So let me know down below if there's any looks in particular that you guys would like to see, or feel free to tag me in pictures on Instagram or Twitter of looks that you guys would like to see me recreate here on my channel. And yeah, I think that's all that I have to share with you guys. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have not already, be sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications. Give it a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, if you like the way this look turned out, or if you just want to give your girl a little bit of encouragement for doing a bold look. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you very soon in my next one. Bye!